We are running.
Sound changes the way we behave. So we maybe unconsciously, very often will move away from unpleasant sound. We do have some sort of self-preservation instinct in this. And this is the thing retailers are just starting to understand now, with the sound agencies working with big shopping malls all over Europe, just about to start working with a very big retailer in America to improve the sound of shopping. Because what happens if you make bad sound in a shop is people leave. Not instantly, but sooner than they would. Because, you know, here we are trying to go shopping and we're in this hideous cacophony. It's not pleasant for us. And we just think, oh, I'm tired. No, I'm going to go home. So we leave. And retailers know there's an equation here. Increased dwell time, they call it, how long we stay in a shop, you increase sales. You know, there's an old adage, if you hang around a barber long enough, you get a haircut.
Most people don't understand how sound affects someone. I know I choose with my eyes now not to look at certain things. I'm really choosy about not to watch the news. I don't want to look at the advertisement with the model and the beard on it, but with my ears, I don't get that choice. And what are some of the things people can kind of be aware of how sound is affecting them?
Well, the four-way sound effects, they're very powerful. And as you absolutely rightly say, we have no earlids. So the ears are working all the time. Even while you sleep, your ears are working. You know, if there's a strange sound in your house while you're asleep, you will wake up. So these things are never asleep. So the first way sound affects us is physiologically. So if I do that, that's a little shot of cortisol, fight-flight hormone. It accelerates the heartbeat. Your hormones are causing fatty acids to enter your bloodstream. You're ready to fight or to flee, and you're not going to do either of those two things, so it's not very good for us.
Okay.
So physiologically, sound changes our bodies all the time, right up to brainwaves, in fact, which have been shown to be entrained by external sound. So if you have a speaker, they've done tests on this, a good speaker in a room will have everybody's brainwaves entrained with his brainwaves or her brainwaves by the end of the talk. Second way is psychologically, moods, emotions, and that's obvious. You just think of music. We can use music to amplify a mood like that, or we can put on a jolly tune to cheer us up when we're feeling low. So we use music to change moods. Birdsong is good for mood as well, we've found. We use it a lot in the sound agency, in offices particularly, because it makes people feel secure. It tends to be when the birds are singing, we're safe. We've learned that over a long time.
Is that something we picked up over the last 100,000 years?
Yeah.
Even animals know that, right?
Totally. Birds have been here much, much longer than we have. They've been here for millions of years, and we've been only around for a few 100,000. So we've grown up to birds. And you and I know when the birds are singing, normally that's a good sign. If they suddenly stop, that's not good. That means something pretty bad is about to happen. Third way sound affects us is cognitively. Nobody can understand two people talking at the same time. So office noise is extremely distracting if you're trying to concentrate. A noisy office is dangerous. It's actually bad for people to work in 65 decibels or more day after day. It creates stress hormones and people become sick, physically sick. It also reduces helpfulness, it reduces sociability, and it is incredibly fatiguing. At the other end of the spectrum, if you have a pin quiet office, which many offices are, you know, you get open plan offices with a finance department working away where the turning of a piece of paper is a major event in the office, you know. Shh, you get that kind of reaction. Well, you've got 20 people in there. If one person takes a phone call, they're putting off all 19 other people immediately because everybody can hear that phone call perfectly. Very intimidating for the person on the phone and very off-putting for everybody else. So we do need some noise in open plan if we're trying to work in that situation. We need some masking sound. I tend to prefer nature sound of some kind because we're very good at setting aside stochastic sound, which would be like gentle rainfall or, you know, gentle water flowing. Something gentle like that. Birdsong is good. Stochastic means composed of many, many random events which create a kind of pleasing wash. So the difference between one bird singing outside your window would drive you mad. The dawn chorus is beautiful. One dripping tap, terrible. Gentle rain on leaves outside the window, everybody loves that one. So we can mask sound, we can create privacy in offices as long as the noise level isn't too high. Then you get somewhere between 45 and 55 decibels is about the sweet spot to work in. There are 4 registers that you can speak in. Now I can't do the top one, which is called, Mariah Carey can do it. It's very, very, very high indeed. Then down below that you've got falsetto register, which is this one. Again, not terribly useful if you're trying to speak powerfully to somebody. It'll remind people of Monty Python. He's a very naughty boy. You know, that's register. It's used by a lot of singers. If you think about Coldplay or many bands, they sing in falsetto register, so it's popular for that.
And it obviously hits us with certain emotions when we hear it.
Yeah, it is used by quite a lot of elderly ladies. Hello, dear. How are you? You know, speaking here. It's very soft and very unthreatening register to speak in. Then you've got the modal register, which is where most of our speaking comes from. And we can move our voice in the modal register, so it's very powerful to learn how to do that, to move from the nose voice or the head voice up here or the throat voice here, and then move down into the chest voice here, which resonates. Now, this is a big resonating chamber. Again, these things are cultural, but there's an effect because we tend to vote for politicians with deeper voices, research has shown.
That's a fact. Okay.
That's a fact.
Right.
There's been quite a lot of double-blind studies now done, which show ceteris paribus. I mean, it's not the only thing in play. Nevertheless, if you're like this, we tend to go for the one with a deeper voice because we associate deeper voices with authority and power.
Right.
Because big things are deeper, like elephants have a deep voice, mice have a very high voice.
I'm thinking of the classic James Earl Jones, "This is CNN."
Yeah,
or, or
exactly.
Darth Vader, right?
Yeah, Darth
guy.
Vader would. Yeah, absolutely. Or in a world. You know, this kind of deep voice is taken to be authoritative. So if you want to speak powerfully, it's worth practicing coming down here a little bit. And then there's another register, which again is a thing I rather regret coming into common parlance a lot now. It's called vocal fry, and it sounds like this. You know, we're always stoked about this, and again, very much a West Coast way of
American,
yeah.
right?
And you get largely females. I mean, I did hear a man yesterday. I was at a restaurant and there was a guy at the next table who was in this the whole time. He was just speaking like this the whole time.
And you pick up everyone's voice.
Yeah, I do, unfortunately. But it's not very pleasant to listen to, and it robs, you know, the voice of all this richness and beauty, I think, that the voice has. It's also not very good for your vocal cords to speak like that.
Right, and it's being lazy, and you said, I think I heard one of your podcasts where you said it's a meme. And it's kind of lazy meme that people are just resulting to. They probably don't know they're doing it, but they're robbing themselves and everyone around them from the richness of their voice.
I think so, yeah. I think so. I mean, that's an opinion, but
right.
I'm not telling anybody how to behave. I think, you know, if you've got a voice, why not explore the fullness and richness of it? It's a shame to limit it to a tiny part of its capabilities. Listening to me is even more important. And after all, what's the point of speaking if nobody's listening? Really listening is an extraordinary thing. I mean, literally extraordinary. It's not usual. For the real listener, the person speaking is the only thing that matters in the world at that point. So real listening is not, yeah, I'm listening to you. I am listening to you. Yeah, no, carry on. That's not real listening. Real listening is absolutely focused. It's conscious, because listening is an activity. We tend to think of the ears as passive. Because sound comes in here and we don't do anything, you know, it's not like looking where you're actually doing something.
And it's
obviously.
always on.
It's not passive. Hearing is passive. There's not much you can do about hearing. I mean, I can hear what's going on around me all the time. Listening is making meaning from sound. It's deciding what I'm going to pay attention to and what it means to me. So we use our ears all the time. Unfortunately, a lot of the time, we're very lazy about it. I think listening is in danger, big time. And from technology, apart from anything else. We're becoming very impatient. We're in a multi-stream world. Now, I can't sit on a tube and read a book and listen to music at the same time, but I see people doing that all the time. And I do think the human brain is very plastic and it adapts very quickly to things. So I'm sure that kids are now able to take 3 inputs where I can't, because that's not the way I was brought up and it's not the way my brain works. I'm not sure it's a good thing. I don't know. We shall have to see. It's like the long-term effects of using mobile phones or playing rugby union or whatever. The jury's out on many of these things. We'll have to wait 10, 20, 30 years to see what the effects are on the human body of many of these things. Multiple inputs, I do think, are making us impatient and shallow. There's a great quote from Oscar Wilde. It was an insult he gave about the Marquis of somebody or other. He said his mind is like a soup dish, wide but shallow. And that is pretty much a good description, I think, of social media in many ways. You know, the word friend doesn't quite mean what it used to. And we tend to have now a lot of shallow relationships as opposed to a few deep ones. where there's not a lot of listening going on. You know, I'm on the train. Who cares, really? Who cares? It's personal broadcasting. So we set ourselves up as little mini TV, radio, whatever stations and broadcast our every move to our 6 followers or 6 million followers. It doesn't really matter.
We are running out of time. What are you going to do with the time you have left? I say that if you don't reposition yourself, you could miss the best time in your life, in this season of life. Because we have got to change the way we think. We have got to change the way we function. We have got to change the way we deal with issues. And the reason that you have to begin to reposition the way you think and the way you function and the way you feel is that we many times are stuck between the lines of limited thinking and limited people and limited ideas and limited philosophies, and there's something creative down inside of you saying, let there